everyone, and welcome to another LSL tutorial with me, John Parker. Cody and Jack aren't in this video because we've decided that I'll just do the videos myself for the LSL tutorials. It's easier that way because I can get all the information I need in these videos and then just chop it myself. It's, you know, becomes easier for us. Anyway, so last time we focused on HTTP requests and the idea that you can take a website, a database with a PHP file on it, and communicate using the request function, and then get the responses using HTTP response, and also requesting a URL on an object and using HTTP request to handle that, and posting data to an object using the get method so you can see it on the web browser, etc., etc. Today we're going to focus on emailing, which is a functionality that is quite useful, but it's very slow. It's not useful in a lot of things, but it's useful in recommunication or receiving information from an outside email client. For example, I'll show you what I mean in a second. So to start with, I'm going to first of all show you how to set it up so an object can receive emails. To do that, you make an object on the ground, obviously, and you make a new script. And in that new script, you create an email event, which is string time, string address, string subject, string message, and integer num left. Now I had to get that from the wiki because there is a lot of parameters on that event, and I never remember it. But what this is you've got the time the email was sent, the address where it came from, the subject of the email, the message, and how many emails are left, because you can send multiple emails at the same time to an object, and you can go through each and every single one of them, blah 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 blah. Anyway, now what you have to do is you have to ping the email server. You have to effectively check for new emails. You can't just receive them. And so the way we do that is we change the top line to a timer, and we're going to say, okay, every 3 seconds I want to check for a new email. So I'm going to replace this touch event now with a timer event. I'm just going to say ll get next email. I'm going to put 2 blank strings in the parentheses. There we go. And what get next email will do is it quite literally does as it says on the tin. It will request a new email, and if you get a new email, it will fire this event, and we'll receive the new emails, the address, the subject, the message, blah blah blah. Now the 2 parameters for that are address and subject. So you can filter emails from a specific address or a specific subject, which could be useful. I don't bother, I'd rather do all the checks in the event, but you can do that if you want to make it so that you only receive emails from either that address, that subject, or even both, if you wanted to limit that filter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, so if the subject is, I don't know, test, with a capital T, then I just want you to only say what the message was. Just tell me what the message was. Now the correct way after that is to check if you've got any emails left processing, and you do that by going if num left. So what that's going to do is if there are any emails left, so that's after this one's been fired, if there's any more, that will be more than 0, which means that becomes true, and then we can just get the next email on the queue. And because I'm very I like to make my scripts look quite neat, I always think that if an if statement only has 1 line after it, we don't need the brackets. It looks nice to just use an indentation there. You don't have to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and save that, and it should succeed. There we go. Close, close. And that box is now ready to receive emails. And the way we can do that is by making a new box, putting a script inside it. I'm going to right click on this box, and I'm going to find out its key by clicking this copy keys button in Firestorm, and that will get us its UUID. And then I'm going to get rid of the state entry part, and in the touch event I'm going to go ahead and go ll email, paste the key at lsl.secondlife.com, which is the address that Linda Lab provide for emailing LSL scripts. The subject, test with a capital D, and the message, hello from this prim. And I think that's all I need to provide for LL email. Yes, it is. Now, I don't know whether you noticed that, guys, but when I put my mouse over that function, it says energy 10, which we don't really have to worry about, but sleep 20. This LL email function is your problem. This is why emailing is not a good idea to use for everything. And that is because once I've called this function, it will lag your script. Your script will stop. So it will lag your script for about 20 seconds. So when I click save, we should be able to see that save. There we go. Right, now if I click this box, it will send a message. You'll get the message on this box, but this box won't be clickable for about 20 seconds. I don't know whether or not it recursively waits. I think it does. So if I was to click it like 3 times, it will send it 3 times if I wait. But I'll just have a look now. It might disregard the second or third clicks. So if I click it once, there we go. That's what you get in response. I'll click it again. Nothing happens. But let's just see if that actually does send the email. And the answer is no, it doesn't. 3 seconds has passed and it still hasn't sent the second email. So I think objects do disregard clicks after a certain amount of time. The server probably just disregards them. Discards them, I should say. But you'll notice that the response that we got was the object name, the region, the local position, and the message that we sent. But it's sent in this email format, which is the exact same thing that you would expect in an email from an object. And I think the same thing happens if you email one of your actual emails. You'll get the object dash name, then it'll give you the object name, the region, and the actual region and its coordinates, the local position, the actual local position of on the region, and then the message in it after a space. So if you want to script an object to be able to understand the email, you would have to strip all of that garbage at the start of the email first before you can actually get to the message itself, which we can do. So the way we can strip the rest of that data is by first of all turning it into a list. Now you'll notice that each one of those lines was on a new line, and a new line character is /n in that way. So we can use that as our delimiter to parse the message into a list. So I'm going to go ahead and just comment out that line. We don't need it anymore. And I'm going to go list email info equals ll parse string to list message. And then in the delimiters I'm going to put the /n character. We don't need the last value. So that's what you can do to turn it into multiple lines. Now we'll get that list will now contain all the individual lines from that email. Now we're only focusing on the last line, but we need to know whether or not the last line is the one, is the message, or is that gap that we saw in the messages, this one here, is that gap present in the list? So in the list, we have to make sure that we only get the last one. Now we can use -1 to indicate the index of the last list item. To do that, I'm going to go string message. No, sorry, I can't use that word. I have to use the full word because the MSG parameter is already took up by the event. So string message equals ll list to string email info, I should say, -1, and that should get us the last item in the list, which should be the message. So if I do ll owner say message now, we should only get the message text. So let's try it. Click. And there we go. Hello from this prim. And that is how you can filter out the message. So just to quickly recap that part, we've used parse string to list to grab all the new lines. So grab all the individual lines and put that last line, which is -1, index -1, into a string and plonked it out onto local chat. Right. Now this is very useful because what we can do now is in this prim we can actually put something meaningful. So let's say change it to something like say hello. And say hello might be a command you want to email to that server that you just made. So we go over to this script and we say if message equals say hello, then ll say 0 hello, save. I'm also going to put if message, else if message equals say goodbye, and of course we'll have ll say 0 goodbye, and so on and so forth. Save. So you can do whatever you like with the data once you've, you know, stripped all the garbage at the start. It's not really garbage. You could technically use that data if you wanted to, but in this particular case we don't need that. So I'm going to go ahead and click send, and we should get the hello message now. And there we go. Now you notice it took a few seconds to process, because it is literally like sending an email, and normally, as you guys know, emails can take a long time to send. In the lab have made this as quick as they possibly can, but it is a bit of a, you know, takes a bit of a while to kick in. So how does this tie into our last lesson? And the answer is because we can use this method as a recommunication feature. Remember last week I did say that URLs will be reset, released I should say, if the region restarts. And if that's the case, then if you are in a different sim and your region restarts, the old URL won't work anymore, and if you haven't really got a very like a database to hold all that information in, then how on earth do you relink it without going over to the sim and letting the box tell you via region say? You can't do it. So what you can do is, if you've got a way to obtain the UUID of the box that originally told you that URL, which you can do of course, because once you first link it, you could have it so it says it to it by using LL region say or LL region say 2 for even better, you know, optimization. Then you'll automatically have the UUID of the box that sent the message using the ID parameter of the listen event. So once you've got that UUID, you can construct the email for that server. You just put the UUID at lsl.secondlife.com. So you can email the box to tell you its URL. What you would do is you'd have it so that you, or your HUD, would have its own URL, and it would send via email its URL to you. The box would keep a record of that and use that email to email you back your email. You can then release your email if you don't need it anymore, or keep it for later communication between the two. Let me try and demonstrate that. So in this box I can go ahead and say, so I could basically set up it so I go LL request URL, just like we did last week, set up the HTTP request event. Oops. Yeah. If method equals post, and then I'm going to check to see whether or not our message that we get received from the other server is for a URL. So I can go if ll substring index body URL with the weird pipe character. I like to use that for separating text. Now, if you're just a little bit confused about what I've just done there, ll substring index will get you the index of where it finds that bit of text, and if it's 0, then it's going to be at the start of the message. So we're basically saying, does the message start with URL pipe character? So if it starts with it, then the URL is going to be the 4th substring onwards. So we can go string URL equals ll get substring body 1 2 3 4, then -1 to say carry on going until the very end of the line. URL should be a global variable, so I'll put that at the top. Just gonna fix that. There we go. Don't need that string definition there. So we've got URL equals that, and then we can go ll owner say received new URL of plus URL, and down here we can give our URL. So I'll do that by going, I'll change that variable to box URL, like that, and then we'll have our own URL variable at the top. So we'll go if method equals URL request granted, change that to an else if, and URL equals body. And then here we just pass it the URL. So what we're doing here is when you click it, you email the box your URL, which will then allow the box to then use your email, your URL, sorry, to post its URL via that message, and then we get the message saying, here's my URL. So yes, I'm going to change the subject here to get URL. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the subject as the command and the message as the parameters. So the subject here is asking the box, get your URL, what is your URL? But we need to give it our URL to be able to have a communication there. So that's what we're doing there. Notice I don't need to change the address, that box has not changed, and therefore if it hasn't changed, if it hasn't deleted and been re-resed, then that UUID will always be the same. That's the kind of benefit with emails, is that those UUIDs stay, they're permanent, until of course the box is removed and put back down. So I'm going to go ahead and save that script. Hopefully that will work. Yep, good. And I'm going to go into this box and say, right, I want that to change to get URL. We don't need any of this apart from that message bit. We don't need any of this. I'm going to say, right, so we know that the message is going to contain the URL. So we're going to say, right, we have now got the URL of the box to tell it our URL. So we're going to go, so message becomes the URL, so we go ll http request message http method post URL pipe plus and then our URL. And for this demonstration purposes, I'm not going to do another request URL. I'm just going to put a fake URL in there. So equals http // this is a fake URL.com. Don't know what that goes to. So what we're doing here is receive the get URL subject. We know that the message is going to be the URL, so we immediately request to that URL our URL. So we save that. And now when we click this box, we should see that this box now tells us what that box's URL is. So we click it, and there we go, guys. It took a very long time for that message to come through, and that's because I was forced to wait the 20 seconds. I completely forgot that because of the 20-second limit, once we've emailed the box to ask for its URL, we won't receive the email until after that 20 seconds is received. Now you're probably thinking, but John, that's way too long to wait. What if we need really fast recommunication, relinking? How do we fix that? There is a solution. There is a solution. It's a little bit tricky, but there is a solution. We use a second script with linked messages to act as the emailer. That way that script can suffer the 20-second lag while our main script that has the URL set up can receive the URL and get the relink happening quicker. The way we can do that is I'm going to quickly rename this one to main, and I'm going to make a new script in there. I'm going to call that emailer. Okay, and I'm going to grab the email code, push that into the emailer as a link message. So I'm just going to go ahead and say link message integer sender integer num string message key ID. If num equals 1, then we know that we're going to email something, so we paste that get URL message, and the message of course being our URL. So this can suffer the email fault, and then here we can go along message linked, link this one, the message is our URL, and we don't need the key parameter. And there we go, that should work. So I should be able to now click this and it should be quicker. There we go, we immediately received the URL, well I say immediately, there's a little bit of lag, but we immediately received the URL effectively, and the other email is still asleep. The other script is still asleep. If I click it again, it should be much more slower now because we're waiting for the other script to pick up. It might not even work, it might lag a bit. No, it worked, there we go, we've got it again. So brilliant. So now what we've got now is two scripts working together here. We've got the main script that does all the URL stuff, and then when we click it, we ask the other the other script to email that box. That box takes its URL, posts it to that URL that we get, which means our main script receives it and tells us what it is. And that's how you can relink objects. And as I said, you can get the UUID of an object by using an LL region, say, to just allow it to get the UUID. That's all you need to do, find a way to have a UUID. But as I said, guys, it is much easier, much more faster, much more reliable if you use a database for this kind of thing. And when the region restarts, you just update it on the database. Maybe even well, you could just have your HUD or whatever object you're using the email with to check the error code and determine whether or not you get a 404 error status if the URL doesn't work anymore. So you just check that, and if you get that, then just immediately request a new URL from the database. But the emailing is a backup. It is a backup option, and as I said, you can directly email that box. If I go onto my emails right now and I put as the to address uid@lsl.secondlife.com and I email it, you will receive it as if it was an actual email. So the subject would become the subject box and the message would only be what you typed. So you can email it, and of course there's no limitation there. There's no 20-second timer there because you're emailing it yourself. So there is a method that you can communicate with boxes, but it's a bit slow if you do it from in-world boxes. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much it. If you have any questions about this, or if you think I went a bit too quick, please do leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll try and answer you to the best of my ability. But that is pretty much it. That is emailing at its most basic form, with a bit of URL mixed in there to show you what the advantages of using email could be for. So there you go. So see you next time, guys. I don't know what I'll be doing next time. It's going to be another advanced topic. I'm sure I'll think of something really useful for you guys. Something I've been using maybe recently, or quick tips and tricks. There was one thing, basic encryption. They're using a function called LLXOR base 64, which you can just XOR bytes with a password. Not very secure, but it's a method of encryption that Second Life provides. So I could always show you that. That might be something useful to cover next time. I'll have a think. I'll have a see. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Hope it was useful. Please let me know if you did like it by giving it a like. Subscribe to us. Check out our Facebook. We are quite active. Facebook and Twitter. Facebook, I like to post our latest videos. Twitter, I sometimes tweet things. So you never know. And we'll see you next time, guys. Hope you enjoy. Goodbye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geeks out. Bye bye, guys.